Well, welcome to the show, everybody. Let's start with Tesla. Tesla is having more than just a bad month. It is witnessing a full-blown collapse in the country of Sweden. And this goes to the broader problems that this company is having. This goes to the ill-advised nature of how Elon Musk got himself involved in reactionary politics alongside Donald Trump. And maybe the saddest thing of it all is that it's ending the way it always ends, which is with Donald Trump making fun of Elon Musk. Even though he says he's great, even though he says he accomplished everything, ultimately Elon leaving Doge, going back to try to save his failing companies, but not even really getting the praise and respect of Donald Trump. We'll talk about that in a moment. So in April 2025, the month that just ended, Tesla sold only 203 vehicles in the entire country. That is for the entire month. That's not at one location. That's not per week or per day. That's for the entire month in the entire country. And it's really important to contextualize this in that we are not seeing like a general electric vehicle slump or people losing interest in electric vehicles specifically. The specifics of this are Tesla. Tesla is nosediving. And of course, the reason is Elon Musk. While Tesla is floundering, the broader EV market in Sweden and across Europe is continuing to grow. Consumers want to go electric, but they're increasingly going with anything but Tesla. Now, other automakers are seeing stable or rising EV numbers in 2025, especially in European countries, which continue to roll out charging infrastructure and incentives for EV adoption. But Tesla is now in this situation where they've got a toxic guy at the top who, by the way, they're starting to look to push out and look for a replacement for. They are stuck with inventory that they can't move, including the old Model Y, despite offering fast delivery and introducing models like the new Model Y. Demand just isn't there. This is not an availability issue. This is not really a specs issue. This is a brand issue. And in Sweden, a country with strong labor traditions and progressive political leanings, Elon has turned Tesla into a symbol of exactly what buyers are trying to avoid. His disdain for unions doesn't play well. The far-right political posturing doesn't play well. His Twitter/X meltdown tours have really transformed what used to be the world's most exciting car company, car and technology company at a certain point, into a political statement that most Swedes and people in Norway, where Tesla sales are down 50%, and all over Europe, it's a political statement to drive a Tesla there that a lot of people don't want to make. So here's the part that really should be particularly concerning to Tesla executives. People want electric vehicles, maybe more than ever. This is like, in a way, getting to be the golden age of the electric vehicle. And what we are seeing is Tesla sales plunging into the low hundreds per month, and it's just not sustainable. They've slashed interest rates, they've teased new models, they're talking about a super low-cost EV that's going to be out soon, but the new models with rear-wheel drive are going to be a tough sell in a country with Sweden's weather, and the cheap price point I don't think is particularly appealing given the political concerns. So the brand toxicity has become a business problem. And much like a lot of Donald Trump's problems, Elon Musk's business problems are completely self-inflicted. He still has the fanboys at home. Most of them still don't seem to be buying Teslas in the US. But now we are looking at Tesla's second quarter. Maybe it'll be a little better thanks to some of this availability. But the big picture is that this is what happens when you start a car company and run it like a social media brand. When you stop selling innovation and start selling ideology, all of a sudden a lot of people don't like it. Now, I know that there are some in my audience saying bankruptcy. This is inevitably headed towards bankruptcy. It's very unlikely, and I'll explain why. What is becoming increasingly plausible is the need for a restructuring or an intervention to stop the bleeding, especially in international markets. But the idea of a company with as much cash as Tesla has straight up going bankrupt is pretty far-fetched. Usually the way that it goes is you're overextended, you're over-leveraged, you're not growing globally anymore. But they do have technology. It's an energy company as well. They have a cushion that a lot of automakers don't have. So even if the sales continue to crater, which they very well may, an actual Tesla bankruptcy is not particularly likely because they could raise money through a stock offering, they could sell off part of its energy division, get emergency lines of credit, maybe depending on Elon Musk's personal financial situation, because there's a lot there related to the X buyout and how he had to move around a bunch of his money. But the idea here is you would almost certainly, even if things became as dire as we can imagine, you would almost certainly end up in some kind of structured buyout, disassembly situation. And that's the direction that we should probably be thinking. So very, very bad news for Elon Musk, bad news for Tesla. Trump is now making fun of him and saying, oh, all these tech guys used to come and suck up to me. We'll talk about that later. What did he get out of it at the end of the day? Did he get the government deals, self-dealing? I don't know. Certainly some of his companies did get deals. Did he get the prestige? Well, he was hanging out at Mar-a-Lago temporarily. Was it all worth it is the question. Unclear right now.
You know, on this program, we have talked about two really important changes happening in the United States. One is that more people than ever have stepped away from organized religion. And two, we've talked about how Christian nationalism seeks to assert its dominance in so many of our institutions, connecting church and state under the law, in schools, in government, etc. I fully respect people's right and freedom to believe anything they want privately, but we need to draw a line and say that can't be pushed onto others through government and through civil legislation and lawmaking and all of these processes. That is exactly what our sponsor, the Freedom from Religion Foundation, is fighting to do. Keep church and state separate, just like our founders intended. So no matter whether you're secular and you've always been, or you left religion, or you're religious but you understand that the founders said keep church and state separate, the FFRF has your back. And I invite you to join the David Pakman Show in helping the FFRF. Go to ffrf.us/freedom or text David to 511-511 and become a member today.